Welcome back to another episode of Tea with Chi, where we talk about you and we talk about me. Hold on, I need to sip my tea before we get into all the vibes. Refreshing. Now, you guys know I stalked the comments and I've been getting tons of questions about the blush that I use. The blush that I use is this Tower 28 blush by Tony Bravo. It's the color Sunset Shirley, and let me tell you guys something. This blush is so pigmented that I can only dab it just a little bit in order to get this full blush effect. Because if I put too much, oh baby, this blush is gonna last me a lifetime. Shout out to you, Tony Bravo, and thank you for sending this over to Chifluencer Studios. Okay? Okay. Now let's go to commercial break. Today's episode is sponsored by Maybelline's Lash Sensational Mascara. Maybelline New York's iconic Lash Sensational Original Mascara has an exclusive fanning brush with 10 layers of bristles, precisely unfolds lashes for a sensational fan effect. Expect supple, separated lashes that never feel weighted down. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Thank you, Maybelline. Now let's get back to the show. Now it's time for my favorite segment, drum roll, please. Question of the hour. And today's question of the hour comes from Diane, who's 43, out of New York City. And she writes, my best friend of 20 years and I have slowly grown apart. Our values, lifestyle, and priorities are just completely different now. We had a huge, painful fight and haven't spoken in months. The grief over this loss is somehow worse than any romantic breakup I've ever been through, but there's no script for it. People tell me to just move on, but how do you mourn a person who is still alive? How do you honor 2 decades of history without letting the bitterness of how it ended take you over? Thanks, Chi. And girl, I totally understand. So first and foremost, let's acknowledge friendship breakups can almost be as hard as romantic breakups. Because, that person knew you so much. They knew you so well. They knew your inner secrets, your inner vibe, your inner thoughts. However, one thing that I like to recognize in life is that no condition is permanent and no era is forever. Sometimes you grow apart and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're beefing. It doesn't mean you're enemies. It just means it is what it is. So first off, I would say, girl, cry. Grieve the end of the relationship. Grieve the end of the friendship. It doesn't mean that you never loved the person because the friendship ended. It just means that you've grown into someone else and God is taking you in another direction and He's taking your friend in a whole other direction. Love the moments that you guys had together and understand that, hey, it is what it is. We're no longer friends, but that does not mean we have to be enemies. And it doesn't mean you can't be friends again tomorrow or another day or the other day. It just means for now, you're no longer in sync. And that is just life. Friendship breakups are difficult, but I say, move with the flow of the life that you're in. Don't try and force yourself back into that bubble or that box that you were in with that friend, and acknowledge that it hurts. I'm crying. I'm sad. But I still gotta move on. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much, Diane from New York City. And if you have any questions that you would like for me to answer live on the show, be free to email me at teawithchitv@gmail.com. Okay? Okay. Bye, guys.